love the way it shimmers.
Look at that incredible weaving. Just imagine. This doesn't really do a lot for me, all folded. My name is Tressa Sularz, and I'm a fiber artist. For many years, I was a contemporary basket maker, and in the more recent years, my work has evolved into more abstract forms. I really like these lines.
So what do you mean that your work speaks to you?
When my work is speaking to me, it's the two of us are working together in the same direction or a similar direction. One of us is letting the other one know where the piece should go as far as direction, and that all comes from the tension that I use when I'm creating a piece. And it starts to go in a certain direction, and it's been really a joy for me to take it where it's heading and where it's telling me it wants to go. Today I'm going to start a new piece. I've been thinking about all the time that I put into my piece before it even gets to a point where I can have fun with it. And having fun to me is, for me, in creating a sculptural form, is allowing the material to take me on a journey. And wherever it goes is where I want it to go. This is an example of a twill cathead, which is a form and style of basketry that I created for many years, and people got to know me as the person that created this style. The bottom is called a cathead because it resembles a cat's head. The weave that I wove most frequently was an twill weave, and this material would be dyed, and I would have a lot of calculations to make to get this pattern to come out every time you would go around this piece when you're weaving. This is the type of form that I created and made a living with what I did. So this is an example of my quiet time, as it's been referred to. This was the time when my late husband John died. The way I actually worked changed. I was no longer weaving a form into shape. I was creating a two-dimensional mat that I would weave with a simple weaving process. And then I would bring the mat up into a three-dimensional form. They all seem to be resembling a vessel. A lot of them were half this high and had ripple tops and were reflective of a journey. This is a coiled basket. The pattern represents mountains, and this is one of the 4 traditional basketry techniques. This is inner gold, which is an example of my new body of work. It's created with waxed cotton, and I am using a twining technique, which is an ancient basketry technique. The feeling for me behind this particular piece is about the inner gold that we all have inside us. It's there within all of us. We just have to find it. And also, it meant a lot to me that the gold and the beads, the beauty is on the inside, and that it's not so important what's on the outside. Inner gold to me is my creativity, the love that I have to give those that I love. That's, I guess, the 2 most important things. And this is a gift because we didn't plant it. It planted itself. Oh, look at these bird nest ferns, the size of them.
Where are they?
Right here. And there's some there. They're just beautiful, amazing. See all the spores here, and lines coming out from the center. Those are a lot of seeds.
So that looks like some of the textures in one of your pieces.
Looks like spokes and the weaving in the center core. These plants are very inspiring. I wouldn't set out to create this, but there would be something I would end up taking home that I might not even realize until I look back on it and see how much it resembles something that we've seen here. Don't forget to look up once in a while. This beautiful plant, you have to stand under it and look up to appreciate what appears to be like a weaving. It's another place to look up. Look at that. I mean, each leaf here is a piece of art. Wish for everything good for everyone we know. Here's for you. We are surrounded with beauty. We find beauty. I find beauty. You find beauty. Other people, I'm sure, find beauty. If you pay attention, and when you walk down that alley, which doesn't sound like an appealing thing to do, but you walk down that alley and you see a beautiful plant growing out of the crack in the sidewalk, or you see some beautiful bricks that may have someone created a pattern or did a little something out of the ordinary. It's just paying attention. There really is beauty wherever you go. You just have to be awake while you're there.
And isn't that one of the things that a good work of art does, is it awakens our sense of beauty?
It does. It does.
So when I look at one of your pieces, it touches my heart because I see beauty, I sense it, I feel it.
Thank you. That's nice to hear. Your light's on, isn't it?
You have to put a little piece of black tape over that light
here.
so you don't know when you're on and when you're off.
Love you.
I love it. I love your work.
Thank you. Everything's here. Things that worked and things that didn't. So it helps me see things differently. Okay. And I can always trim off. I made this memorial in memory of my mother. And it's been through this process, especially in creating this new body of work, that I've realized my emotional state of being is reflected in my art.
She would have loved it. She really would have. She would have been very honored.
I remember at a very young age, always making things. I remember my grandmother baking cookies. She actually let me help, and I love to bake. She crocheted doilies, and I would sit beside her with my head on her shoulder on a sofa and watch her crochet these beautiful lace doilies. And she had a steel hook, which was a crochet hook, and a very thin piece of cotton thread. and it was like magic.
What do you see?
I see gold. I see gold on the bones. Wow, just magnificent.
Being an artist, you're kind of inventing yourself, and you're coming from like beginning nowhere, and you're inventing who you are and what you see and how you perceive, and you start with very little confidence, and you're trying to pull confidence together, and as confidence grows, it gets you on a smooth ride that just happens and that you're on, and it just, I mean, I never have to think about what I do. I walk out in the studio and it just happens. I never plan ahead of time. I always feel like planning ahead of time is talking, not doing. And, you know, once I get out in the studio, it just is pretty magical.
Yesterday, after a frustrating time of trying to get them to stand on their own, I found that they might prefer to lay. And
Well, I mean, that really is a beautiful shell-like form, actually.
this can be brought together, either left partially open, exaggerated more, or sewn together. But I do like the freedom of things going where they want to go.
Well, and even in a case like this, if you were to leave it open, you might be able to put some of these way in here so that just catches a little tip of that.
Yep,
In
good
there,
idea.
So it really accentuates your intentionality.
I like that idea. Yep. Thank you.
You know, that might be,
Yeah.
but, you know.
It also reminded us of a river or a stream laying
They
out.
just are so, you know, they're really organically sea-ish. And this is really nice too.
Thank you.
And the way it sits too. Mm-hmm. I just see forms that I used to find on the beach. I mean, you know, it just looks like, a lot of times when you go through fishermen's nets after they've been pulled up, you'll see a part of a form, or you'll see something that maybe is flat on one side and it's really fat and beautiful on the other side. And I mean, because you're only seeing half of the whole form, but, you know, that's what, when I looked at these even in your show, I saw that.
Well, and there were some pieces called waves that Bert was looking at, the blue one, I believe.
Yeah.
And so there's that water coming in here from someplace. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I needed to change the way I worked. During my healing time, many nights I would wake up in the middle of the night sobbing because I thought I was going to die. And one night I realized no one had told me I was going to die, so why am I wasting my good energy on these thoughts? From that point on, the creativity flowed off my fingertips. This new body of work began to take on reclining forms, and the pieces started to embrace themselves. And the piece that was the final piece of this series is entitled Finale, and it stands on its own. Oh my goodness. Did you see this? My goodness. I didn't know it could stand. Oh, that brings a whole new perspective. Standing on its own. I have to stop. Wow. It's an extension of oneself. Not sure where these waves are coming from, other than the tips of my fingers. I like how they feel in my hand. Very sensual. We're going to see Peter Lee, who is a magician.
So what do you think?
Okay, I see it did lighten up a little, didn't it?
Yeah.
I liked when this line stood out a little bit. I think it probably had more light on it. This line right here.
Yeah.
I like that. That looks good. If anything, just a tad bit lighter.
What do you hope people will see in your work?
Oh my. Well, I hope that they'll enjoy the forms that I've created. I would hope that they would want to live with it. It's something that they would see every day and enjoy. This was the last piece that I made, and it stands.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything has been reclining, really reflective of the last couple of years, different stages. And so I wanted the last piece to be something that would be different from what I've been doing, such
Right,
as shapes
right. And what a good way to do it. For them.
And I do like that idea, what you suggest. This show is called Dancing My Way Home, which is a show about evolution, what has come about from where I started to where I finished. I'm not done yet. I still have a lot to give.
Bravo.
Thank you. I want the, yes.